you're having a good Monday today, and we want to start with asking you a really quick question, which is this. Have you ever got such good news it was hard to believe? Probably have.
Yeah.
And you began to think right away, no way, that just can't be true. It just can't be true. And, we want to take a look at Sarah a little bit more here today on this. And I want to teach you something about laughter. And that, of course, is important in our life. But there's something in the Bible that faith and laughter, when it comes together, could be really a neat journey. We start off with a form of cynical laughter. You get good news, it's sort of like, oh, yeah, right. Yeah.
To be true.
Right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's like, you're almost afraid to believe that it's true, right? For whatever reason.
Yeah.
Maybe there's past hurts there, too many disappointments, or you might maybe even afraid that you'll lose your faith if you believe and it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
I remember 12, 13 years ago or so, this just came to me, but James, our technical director here, said to me right here in the auditorium, he said, "Hey, Brent, the youth pastor position has kind of come available here at People's, and I thought maybe you should apply." The way I laughed at him, I've never laughed at anyone else that way in my life.
Yes. And it is like that. It is like getting a phone call, you won the lottery, and saying, yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Right. It is like that. And this is what happened to Abraham and Sarah. And we're just going to read some scriptures just to give you context. We covered them on Sunday, but let's take fresh look. And this is out of the Message version, Genesis 17. And it says, God continued speaking to Abraham and Sarah, your wife. Don't call her Sarai anymore. Call her Sarah. I'll bless her. Yes, I'll give you a son by her. Oh, how I'll bless her. Nations will come from her. Kings of nations will come from her. Abraham fell flat on his face, and then he laughed, thinking, this is cynical laugh, okay?
Yeah.
Now, here's why. Can a 100-year-old man father a son, and can Sarah at 90 years have a baby?
Right.
Okay, well, I could answer that in the natural. No.
Exactly.
Recovering, I love that part. Abraham said to God, oh, keep Ishmael alive and well before you. If you remember, they went about their own plan.
That's right.
Through a maidservant of Sarah's.
Yeah. So he had Ishmael. So it's like, well, this is the reality we have. Let's just hope for the best here.
Yeah, this is not reality. What you're telling me.
Yeah.
I got Ishmael. He's right here. I can go hug him. Yeah. Take my plan, make it yours.
Yeah, I can see where this could happen. Yeah.
Have you ever said that to God at all? Like, take my plan and make it yours, please?
As ridiculous as it sounds, when we're talking about this in third person, I absolutely have done that. Yeah. That's too impossible, but I could see where it could work this way.
Yeah, or what's wrong with this?
Yeah.
This is good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, he wasn't the only one that laughed. Sarah laughed.
Yeah.
And so we go actually to the next chapter, and it says this, but God said, that's not what I mean. I'm sorry, I'm still finishing off on Abraham. That's not what I mean. Your wife Sarah will have a baby, a son, name him Isaac. Laughter. I'll establish my covenant with him and his descendants, a covenant that lasts forever. Now we skip to the next chapter and find out that Sarah was a laugher also. Mm-hmm. I think everybody laughs cynically at good news. So here's her story. The men who had come to visit Abraham, this is God and a couple of angels that are visiting. And where is Sarah, your wife, as they're sitting with him? And he said, in the tent. One of them said, I am coming back about this time next year. When I arrive, your wife Sarah will have a son. Sarah was listening at the tent opening just behind the man. Abraham and Sarah were old by this time, very old. Sarah was far past the age for having babies. Sarah laughed within herself. An old woman like me get pregnant with this old man of a husband? Right? Wow. We're not going there. Okay. And God said to Abraham, why did Sarah laugh, saying, me have a baby? An old woman like me, is anything too hard for God? I'll be back about this time next year, and Sarah will have a baby. Sarah lied. She said, I didn't laugh, because she was afraid. But he said, yes, you did. You laughed. Okay, this is the first form, cynical laughter.
Yeah.
And it's a part of the good news journey that's beyond reality so far that we see no other options. And this is a thing in God. You know, you and I find it easier to have faith when we have 3 options in front of us.
Yeah.
That we say, yeah, that could happen. That's that's possible. Yeah, that's possible.
Yeah.
We look at circumstance and say it's possible.
Mm-hmm.
God, I would like you to do that.
Yeah.
But they're looking at it, and this is where it ain't possible.
No.
Circumstances.
This
are
is
not in their
totally out of
favor.
our own reality.
Yes. And that's right, because it's based on God's performance. His promises are based on his performance, not on ours. So that's the cynicism. They see these realities in front of them. You know, Abraham's even trying to like, okay, God, like I could see that could come to fruition this way, because this is what's in front of me. And that's how we tend to look at our situations. So this really is, this laugh of cynicism is really the beginning of this faith journey for them, right? Maybe not the beginning, but a big part of it.
And you can relate to him because, I mean, Abraham's 100 years old. That's crazy. But can you imagine bearing a child at 90?
No, I'm 40. I can't imagine it.
Right.
So this is where, and Ange mentioned it, where you see the Christian life is not based on your performance. If it was, there would never need to be a cross.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was based on God's performance, and God's performance alone. And that's why they could not just, engage with this. And yet, in Hebrews 11, we're told they are great people of faith. So faith can embody cynicism. It can embody that little laugh. Are you kidding me? Come on.
Yeah.
May God's promises that are so secure actually take you there.
Yeah.
Because it's such good news. How could you ever believe that every sin is forgiven and forgotten? That everything has been cleansed by God? That you have been given eternal life? I mean, how much more beyond reality can that get?
Yeah.
You can't control any of that.
No.
It's not your performance. It's God's. So we bring it back to this. That's that first laughter.
Yeah.
And God's always faith takes you on a journey from cynicism. It encompasses cynicism.
Yeah.
And we have to understand that.
Yeah.
And then it takes us through to joy.
Yeah.
And this is the last laugh is on God. And it comes in the next few chapters, Genesis 21, 1-4. We just read, God visited Sarah exactly as he said he would. God did to Sarah what he promised. Sarah became pregnant and gave Abraham a son in his old age. And at the very time God had set, Abraham named him Isaac, which means laughter. When his son was 8 days old, Abraham circumcised him just as God had commanded. Abraham was 100 years old when his son Isaac was born. Sarah said, God has blessed me with laughter, and all who get the news will laugh with me. That now we have a transition.
Yeah.
You see, now we do not have a cynical
right.
laughter. We have a
Different
joyful
kind of
laughter.
laugh.
One more verse. She also said, whoever would have suggested to Abraham that Sarah would one day nurse a baby, yet here I am. I've given the old man a son.
I like this version.
Isn't that
Giving
great?
the old man a son.
Well, she's not wrong.
No, that's right.
But the joyful laughter.
The joy, it's just amazing. One thing that stands out to me is that there's her cynicism and his, it did not discount them from this. Like you said, the faith journey can encompass that. God can handle that. It didn't discount them from the fulfillment of God's promise in their lives. And it was just a part of it. God sees it as a journey. He knows. And right there on the spot, I didn't laugh. Yes, you did. But it was all still going to happen. And I love that. And so to have this joy of like, oh, this unbelievable thing has happened to us. It is believable. And everyone who hears of this and sees this is going to also laugh. This unbelievable joy at who God is and what he's done.
Yeah, it's a different kind of laugh. I think we all relate to how that feels to laugh cynically at something, but then to actually laugh out of joy. Can I ask you guys a question?
No. Go ahead.
Thank you. Aren't you glad that God gets the last laugh?
Yeah.
Right? He gets the last laugh.
Good point. And he always does.
Yeah.
That's one thing I think we can actually finish off with is this. Cynical laughter in your life is not your enemy. That may be your starting point.
Yeah.
And wherever you're having that cynical laughter right now about Yeah, right. God forgives me everything. Yeah, right. God could change this.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. God, yeah, wherever God's involved, you're going to have that cynical laughter at first because the news is too good.
Yeah.
It's like too good to almost be true. And your starting point is often, yeah, right. That's your starting point. Now, if he's promised, which he has, I've forgiven you, I've given you a new ID, I've given you eternal life, and that I'm going to be your shepherd and walk with you. And even those little promises that he's lifted out for you in your journey.
Yeah.
Those are things. It might start with cynicism because the realities are just too far apart. But it's meant to be a journey to the laughter of joy when God has fully got you. Yeah, you did it. God's performance, not yours. Enjoy what you've been given. Love it. Find the joy of your salvation. It's real. It's true. And move into joy. God bless you.